But I think laying the foundation for this is what we have to do to compete at a championship level. Yeah. Like this is why home court matters. This is why you can't have off day. This is why we can't be 11th in the league in defense, right? Like we got to get to at least middle of the pack. You know, all of those different things. And so as a competitor, it's exciting.
Stephanie White isn't just stepping into the role of a coach for the Indiana Fever. She's redefining what it means to lead a WNBA team.
So today, lads, we're going to be talking about Stephanie White, and we're going to be talking about basically what she has been saying about coaching the...
If you think this is just another generic coaching hire, you're in for a surprise. Stephanie's vision is bold, innovative, and something the league hasn't seen before.
Do I think it's going to be a seamless transition? No. I mean, it's going to take some time. And just like any young team, I mean, you don't get back-to-back number one picks by being really talented early, right? Just like any young team, it's going to take some time. Yeah. You know, and it's going to, we got to put some people.
And at the center of it all, Caitlin Clark, the generational talent who has the potential to not just shine, but completely change the game. Let's break it down.
Hope number one for Caitlin, that I can be a resource. Mm-hmm. You know, I didn't have the same stuff that she has on a global scale. Mm-hmm. You know, thankfully we didn't have social media at the time, which amplifies everything. But I've been through it on a smaller scale. And so hopefully I can help her navigate, you know, some of the extra stuff, while pushing her to be her best and challenging her to step outside of her comfort zone on the floor. You know, I have the advantage of I was an opponent, right? And so scouting her and this.
Imagine being a coach who has studied Caitlin Clark not just as a player, but as an opponent for years. White knows Clark's strengths, but more importantly, she knows how to push her to step outside her comfort zone.
And then I called a lot of her games in college when she was at Iowa. And so I've really watched her continue to learn and grow, and I have great relationships with her college coaches and had multiple conversations with them throughout the course of her career about what the next steps would be, right? And what the next level would be.
Her goal? To mentor Clark into becoming not just a better player, but also someone who can handle the weight of her fame and keep growing. But Stephanie White isn't just focused on Clark. She understands that basketball is a team sport, and no single player, no matter how incredible, can carry a team alone.
I was an opponent, right? And so scouting her and this is what we try to do to make you uncomfortable. This is how we game planned for you. And again, being that straight shooter, like, okay, like these are the areas that we need to improve. You know, and putting those pieces together while also thinking about the holistic version of this team that we have, who is incredibly gifted on the offensive end of the floor. You know, offense is what I love. And so being able, trying to think about all these things that we can.
That's why she's laser focused on building a cohesive unit. White wants the Fever to function as a well-oiled machine, where every player knows their role and contributes to both offense and defense.
And so establishing that this is going to be a part of our DNA and a part of who we are right away and is going to be important.
Now let's talk about her game plan. White is bringing a level of creativity to the Fever that's practically unheard of in the WNBA. She's not just sticking to traditional playbooks. She's diving into strategies inspired by the NBA and EuroLeague.
One person, you know, you can't do it one-on-one, right? Like it is a whole 5-man team effort. So let me just preface all that for you.
Think Golden State Warriors level innovation, but adapted for the WNBA. Fast-paced play, sharp three-point shooting, and dynamic defensive tactics.
Right, we want to have sets that give us certain spacing that we want, depending upon our rotations, who's on the floor, who we want to attack, what matchups we want to get to, how can we manipulate them. So we'll have certain play calls that just give us space to operate. And then whichever play we make, whichever pass we make determines, you know, one of 3 actions that our players can read from. And so really giving them the freedom to play within.
This is the kind of basketball Stephanie wants to introduce. And about that defense, let's be real. The Fever's defense last season was a disaster. Second to last in the league. That's not just bad, it's embarrassing. But White isn't shying away from the challenge. She's bringing in lessons from her time with the Connecticut Sun, where she built one of the league's toughest defenses. Her plan isn't just about copying past successes, it's about taking those ideas and cranking them up a notch. White has made it clear that defending a talent like Caitlin Clark, or any other top player, requires a whole team effort. She's applying that same principle to the Fever, building a defensive system that could leave opponents scrambling. It's not all about defense, though. White's offensive vision is equally thrilling. She's got big plans for players like Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston, who have often been overlooked despite their immense potential. White has been following Mitchell since her college days and sees her as one of the hardest workers in the league. With the right plays and strategies, White believes Mitchell could become one of the WNBA's most dangerous players. Imagine Mitchell and Clark working together on the court, complemented by Boston's talent. That's the kind of synergy White is aiming for, an offensive powerhouse that can dominate games. Of course, building something this ambitious isn't going to happen overnight. White is realistic about the challenges ahead. She openly acknowledges that the Fever's young roster and recent struggles mean this transformation will take time. But she's not discouraged. For her, this is about the long game. It's about laying a foundation now that can support a dynasty in the future. White doesn't just want to win a championship, she wants to build a legacy. One of the most exciting things about Stephanie White's approach is how forward-thinking it is. She's not recycling old ideas or sticking to what's comfortable. She's actively studying the latest trends in basketball and thinking about how to adapt them for her team. This isn't just about staying competitive, it's about pushing the boundaries of what's possible in the WNBA. White's willingness to innovate sets her apart and makes her one of the most intriguing coaches to watch. The Indiana Fever may have been an afterthought in the league recently, but under White's leadership, that's about to change. She's not just aiming to make the team better, she's aiming to make them unforgettable. Whether it's through Caitlin Clark's generational talent, Kelsey Mitchell's breakout potential, or a reimagined team dynamic, Stephanie White is positioning the Fever as a team to watch. And let's not forget, this isn't just about the Fever. White's vision could have ripple effects throughout the WNBA. By introducing new strategies and elevating the level of play, she's setting a new standard for what coaching can look like in the league. The bottom line, Stephanie White isn't here to maintain the status quo, she's here to disrupt it. If you're a WNBA fan, buckle up. This is going to be one wild, exciting ride.